Hi, it's Mike O'Connor from NuVoodoo's marketing team, and I'm here with part three in our ongoing series. We're covering the declination of digital ad tracking and the impact that it's having on advertisers. If you're watching today's presentation on YouTube, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button and ring that alert bell, and that way you'll be notified when we put out updated videos. Well, in April, Apple introduced iOS 14.5 and a crucial new feature, at least crucial for consumers, called App Tracking Transparency. This essentially made mobile device ID tracking evolve from an opt-out to an opt-in reality. Tracking had been there to allow advertisers to know a little bit more about consumers, to better target them, to be more relevant when selling things, to better understand how well campaigns have worked. Well, you turn that tracking off, and we at NuVoodoo suspected that things would change. So in early June 2021, we fielded a study to try to predict just how popular Apple's new initiative would be. We expected very, and the results confirmed that. To no one's surprise, the appetite for opting into tracking for a better ad experience was not very strong for nearly 80% of our sample. Only slightly better than 1 in 5 rated tracking an 8, 9, or 10 on a 1 to 10 scale, where 10 meant extremely likely to opt in. The remaining part of our sample either neutral or against allowing apps and sister apps owned by the same company to track their mobile device. We virtually saw no breaks or differences along generational lines, though the appetite does get a little worse the younger you look, with Gen Z being perhaps the most resistant of all to tracking. Well, you fast forward a month later, and media reports really confirm our research. Nearly 3/4 have not opted in to tracking since version 14.5 was deployed in late April. And that has really torpedoed ad rates on the iOS side of the ledger. Of all the devices and all the device IDs that were lovingly curated by marketers over the years, they were gone in an instant, and that translated into a windfall for Google. The Wall Street Journal reports that ad rates for reaching Android devices have jumped 10% in the past month. Now, there have been some that have tried to game the system. TikTok, for example, joined forces with dozens of Chinese tech firms working with the state-backed China Advertising Association to try to develop a new technique. It was called device fingerprinting, dubbed CAID. This was an advertising method that gathers iPhone user data through the use of an algorithm, and it can track users for the purposes of ad targeting in a way that Apple seeks to prevent. Well, this probably doesn't surprise you that Apple held its ground and disabled several attempts to update apps in the iTunes store, the App Store. Moreover, Apple is doubling down on the security with stronger protection in the next version of the iPhone operating software called iOS 15 and Mac OS 12. For a number of years, intelligent tracking prevention on Safari had already protected users from unwanted tracking. Well, in iOS 15 and the new Mac update, Apple will extend that protection with a new email privacy feature called Mail Privacy Protection. That will prevent companies and advertisers from tracking how you interact with emails, particularly identifying you by your IP address. And that means it'll be difficult to track open rates, clicks, and conversions, and that will make email stats a little bit less reliable. In addition, Apple announced that it's adding its app privacy report. This will add transparency. It'll live in settings and provide an overview of privacy-related matters to users in installed apps. So, for example, it'll tell you how often apps use your contacts, your microphone, your location, other data and identifiers. The app privacy report will also show which third-party domains are receiving that information from you as well. We don't think this is a digital trend that advertisers can fight very much longer. Major hacks and ransomware incidents are in the news as I record this here in early July 2021. Consumers going to become more and more wary of giving up privacy in exchange for convenience, in exchange for free digital tools and a better ad experience. But there are things that advertisers can do to optimize today's new reality. First, if tracking, targeting, cross-device marketing, remarketing are all critical to your business, then targeting Android users and Chrome browsers may be your best bet. Google's kind of taken a different approach. Now, they did start a new initiative called the Privacy Sandbox. It was a proposed new set of tools to approximate the role played by cookies, but without the same privacy concerns of tracking individuals on the internet. But they've delayed that initiative now for at least 2 years. And that means cookies are here to stay for now, along with mobile device ID tracking, at least on Android. So any walled garden with a login that offers advertising has the upper hand. And that might be useful to you as well. User IDs are assigned to people based on their log information rather than a device or browser. So identifications are generated randomly and don't contain any identifiable data. So once a user logs into their Facebook or their Instagram account, their YouTube account, or their Google Chrome account, regardless of the device or ID, the browser, all activities will be attributed to that unique user ID. So platforms that target significant demographic segments and are able to cultivate regular daily use by logged in users are really going to have the upper hand, and advertisers will have access to this more reliable data for targeting and tracking. But expect to pay more for that luxury moving forward. A leading example of a closed ecosystem with a login like I'm talking about is Facebook, Instagram. In our past studies, nearly 90% of users 14 to 54 have used one or both platforms on a daily basis across dozens of our studies. And these platforms allow you to connect with whom you have a pre-existing digital relationship. And that's what makes them most powerful. They allow us to use our first-party data, and it's extremely valuable. And that's why we think cultivating your first-party data, first by earning trust and then acquiring intent and eventually getting people to purchase, it all will start by focusing on collecting consumer data, email, mobile numbers, subscribes, likes, follows, even browser traffic that can still be rolled up by putting cookies on your website and identifying people based on their browser. All of that can still matter. You can roll all of that up on these so-called walled gardens. The more and better quality that your first-party data that you've got access to, the more successful you're going to be. And the best way to achieve that objective is to steal a page out of the Apple playbook and become a strong advocate, a leader in your category for safety and security of your consumers' personal data. And we at NuVoodoo, we do get to see it all. We have the advantage of pairing our proprietary market research with all the real-time digital campaign performance metrics and client site metrics. It gives us a complete picture of the digital activity and really the entire sales funnel. So we're here if you need us to navigate this kind of stark new reality for advertisers. You can reach out to us at any point at tellmemore@nuvoodoo.com. And thanks so much for watching today's video. Make sure to subscribe and hit the alert bell.